All right, you guys ready?
Oh, actually.
All right.
You don't need them until we watch the videos. If you're more comfortable with them, though,
fine.
feel free.
Chance is a real co-host now,
Yeah,
huh? Walking
exactly.
them through the ropes.
Hey,
All right.
cans, that's an industry term that we use around here. If you need to use the can.
Well, guys,
The
welcome
cans.
back to another episode of Comedy Pinata, live from Zanies in Nashville. As you know, we got to start off and thank our sponsor. Credit cards, student loans, mortgages, car loans, hospital bills. Did you know you have a lot of rights if any of these ever go to debt collections? John, I'm sure you're familiar with this. Oh, yeah. That's right. Consumers, not debt collectors, have a huge list of rules they have to abide by, and that's where the law firm SueTheCollector.com comes in. SueTheCollector.com is a national consumer law firm that only helps consumers. The lawyers at Sue the Collector have helped literally thousands of people turn the tables on debt collectors and put an end to illegal harassment, abuse, and repeated phone calls that many people find themselves subjected to through no fault of their own. The lawyers at SueTheCollector.com can help everyone in all 50 states, have won millions for consumers over the years, and have canceled over $1 billion in consumer-related debts. That's right, a
Bad repo.
billion.
Oh, billion. I was toned out. I know it's going to end with bad repo.
We have the same sponsor,
John Repo.
Right now, they really want
I jumped the gun. We'll get to the punchline in a minute.
Right now, they really want to speak to anyone that's had their car repossessed. Did you know consumers do not have to allow repo men to take their cars against their will? In most cases, you can actually legally refuse to let them take your car. If you've ever objected to a car repo and they still got your car against your will, you may be sitting on a very valuable case. Call us to the collector's office right now at 1-877-BAD-REPO or 1-877-223-7376. Again, that's 1-877-BAD-REPO or 1-877-223-7336. They're open right now to take your calls. Again, that's 1-877...
Bad repo.
Oh, yeah, there he is. There he is. Now
Yeah,
he knows
baby.
it. Guys, former guests, Jon Reep, Reno Collier, and of
Repo
course,
Collier and John Repo.
Yeah, dude, we could do a repo.
Yeah.
I know Chance was sitting on that. I saw him
I was
smiling.
like,
He's just waiting at it. He's like, give it to me, give it to me. And of course, our wonderful co-host, Chance Willie.
How you doing?
And thanks to our producer, Taylor, as always, and Jorge and Adrian. How you guys doing?
Fantastic, man.
Yeah?
Good to be back. Thanks for having me.
And you guys tour together, correct?
We do shows from time to time
Yeah.
together. Reep and Reno.
Yeah.
We've done, like 5 or 6?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're fun, man.
They're a lot
Yeah.
of fun. Yeah, it's always like a coin toss. Who's going to go last?
Right.
I don't like following him.
I don't like it
And
either.
he doesn't.
Follow myself.
He doesn't like following himself. So
It's
we
hard.
try to mix it up.
Yeah.
You know, but
But you guys did bowling alleys, correct?
that
No.
was John Heffron.
No,
Oh, that was
I don't-
Heffron.
Me and Heffron do that.
Oh,
yeah.
that was the one I liked.
Yeah.
Thank you for trying to give me
don't
credit
fuck
for that. You guys do skating rinks, is that right? So you skate through your show, and then you have
Kinda
cotton
like
candy.
Gallagher,
and-
we've smashed watermelons at the,
The big
end.
closers, you fly into the wall, flip over, and land on your ass when
Yeah.
you skate up in the air.
But you do bowling alleys with...
I have done bowling alleys.
You didn't
Now-
want to do them. Tell them the
Yeah.
story.
John really wanted me to do them. Yeah, that was fun. That was
But
actually
you
not
guys
a
are straight
bad
up
gig.
theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, theaters, clubs, mostly theaters.
Maybe
right?
lead with that, and
John-
then mention,
yeah,
then
yeah.
slide in bowling alleys.
I'm actually trying to get these guys on a cruise ship as well.
Yeah, 'cause
I've
you
been
do your
doing my
own
my
cruise.
own little cruise the last couple of years, and now I've invited him and Heffron. So
Got
now
it.
we're going to do our own little cruise.
I'd love it if the cruise, if they said the only space we have is a bowling alley. You guys would go with that? You guys did it on the cruise ship.
Yeah.
As you know, we go through, we barrel through. We're going to watch some stand-up comedy clips. Again, we don't have any idea who these are, so let's just get to number one. I'm really excited
Stressful,
today about the last one. I'm very
You know who
excited.
it is?
You
I don't
already know
know, but
these?
we have 4 options today, so
Yeah, it could be any of it.
chance?
Sorry guys, I'm on pussy patrol. Yeah,
That's a 4.
yeah.
That was guttural too.
Yeah.
was really deep.
Sugar-free
Could've
Red Bull.
come
It's
up
good for
with
your
it.
teeth, but it's bad for your stomach.
for your
Yeah,
gut.
yeah, it's great for your teeth though. So
It
when you're
smells
negging,
like a
and
Happy Meal.
What did you
like
eat before?
7?
I had like 20 Dino Nuggets for breakfast.
Oh, there you go. Not far off.
I don't even
Dino
know.
Yeah,
Nuggets.
that's how I
dinosaur
maintain my
shape?
boyish charm.
Yeah, how old are you, Chance?
27.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you do today?
If I was any good at art, I would be dead by now. You know, this would be the year I kicked the bucket. Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, but I'm just gonna keep it going. See how.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, that's
the
the
year they all
second time
died.
he's done that on the podcast, so we can rewind. But that's the second time he's dropped that joke on this podcast.
Is it really?
Which
Oh
one?
yeah,
Oh yeah, I've got
Kurt
it. Yeah.
Cobain?
because he tricked me into
27?
thinking he was 43. I was like,
Yeah.
no, you look great for 43.
Yeah. All right.
I really thought it was 43.
Are you coming at me for doing canned crowd work? Pot, meat, kettle. Wait a second.
All right, Dino
Someone's
Bites. Here we go.
projecting. It's like looking into a mirror. You spot it, you got it.
Oh, Dusty Slay.
I'm not
All
familiar.
right.
Dusty Slay, another hometown hero.
Yeah.
Any thoughts when you think of Dusty Slay?
All right.
Joy, happiness, good times.
Yeah.
You know,
We're having a
he's got
good
his
time.
thing down. He's got,
Yeah.
dude. He's got the good look. He's got the hair, the hat. I mean, he's great.
Dude, he's one of those guys. You know, how some comics just make you laugh really, really hard.
Yeah.
That's how he is with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like although I'm surprised we're still friends. I had him and his wife and his baby. They had a baby, and we couldn't see the baby during COVID. Right, the baby was born, and we couldn't see it, so we invited him over. My wife and he came, and his wife and the baby. And before we eat, I was like, I'm gonna say the prayer, and I'm like, dear God, thank you so much for bringing beautiful Hannah over here, and for us getting a chance to hold her, and what a wonderful thing. And I'm like, amen. And I get done. My wife's like, what is wrong with you? Hannah's his wife's name. Like the baby's name was Daisy.
Thank you for letting me
And I'm
hold
like,
your
hold her.
wife.
I'm like, she's so beautiful. And I finally got to see her and have her in the house and everything. And my wife's like, what the? And Hannah's like, thank you so much for being so sweet. But the baby's name is Daisy. And I'm like, I thought they were both Hannah. I didn't know.
Like Hannah Jr.
Yeah, that little Hannah. Little Hannah, nice Hannah.
That's where you feel like your vertebrae being plugged to you. Bing, 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 bing. You're like, fuck, I didn't know her name. Oh, God.
Dude, he laughed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That dude's awesome.
Yeah,
He's a
the
great
best.
dude. And he's starting to do really well. He's got the half hour on Netflix. So check it out. It's called
So
what
it's
was
time
it?
to hate him.
It's time to hate.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy. All right.
Yeah.
Let's watch
Overrated.
a little clip of Dusty Slay.
My power went out recently.
Got to turn it up.
All right.
All right. We're having problems with the audio.
I know what he's saying.
Right away, I'm already like, he just makes me smile.
He does
I like
make
the
me-
way his cadence, his delivery is very comforting. It comes off as if it's effortless, and
He's not afraid of silence.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't.
Yeah.
Which I think is
My power went out recently. Thank you. And my wife got home and it was storming real bad, and she called me and she was like, "The power's out." I was like, "Well, I bet it's that storm knocked out that power." And then I got home like 3 hours later. Storm's gone, power's still out. I was like, "Dang, hell of a storm." You know? Turns out, power went out because I didn't pay the bill. Storm, just a coincidence. It's like the power company was playing games. They were like, wait till the lightning strikes, cut the power. They won't know what hit them. We didn't know. We live in an apartment complex. We're out there walking around, looking in people's windows, trying to see if their lights are on. Nobody had their lights on. I was like, dang, hell of a storm, right? My wife wanted me to go ask one of the neighbors, see if their power was out. But we don't know any of our neighbors, so I didn't. But I imagine it will be something like this, right? You go knock on the door. You're like, hey, man, is your power out? Because my power's out. Oh, your power's on. Okay, well, my power's out. So I guess they're cutting my power around here. I don't know. Me today, you tomorrow, I guess. I'm just letting you know. Now I go to this guy with all my problems, you know? I'm like, hey, man, did your car get towed? My car got towed. Oh, your car's still out there. Okay. Well, they're towing cars, so stay vigilant. Keep a blind cracked. You know what I mean? Like, hey, man, did your wife leave? My wife left. Oh, your wife's still there. Okay. No, they're leaving. So I'll lock her up.
That's great.
It's hilarious.
I
just a
love
great
it.
bit.
Yeah.
I love it that he's having a conversation, and you know, the other persons. You know, we hear what they're. I think Ellen did that, like a conversation with God or something, where she calls him up on the phone and like, you
Yeah.
don't hear what it is, but
You don't hear what they say. He just responds to it
yeah,
as if.
Yeah, like Bob
I-
Newhart used
yes,
to do that.
Yeah. So I love that. I love anything Dusty does is amazing. That was great. I loved it.
I like too the honesty of I didn't go talk to him.
Yeah.
But if I did,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
imagine
A lot
it
of
like
guys,
this.
me, I'd have been like, then I went and talked to him.
Yeah.
You know,
a guy
right,
called
yeah.
me and said,
Yeah.
there's no guy. There's no fucking
guy.
guy. There's
Yeah.
no one in your life.
Right.
You know, who's going to call you.
That's how honest Dusty is.
Yeah.
He can't even lie when he's on stage.
He can't even lie.
He's not going to exaggerate. If I did, well, I like what he did. He said, you know, the first run was the pattern, and then he brings back the exact same pattern twice, but it's just a slow escalation to let you know his life really sucks.
Yeah.
It's great.
Wife leaving? Yeah, they're leaving out here. Yeah. I love also, if you listen to any Dusty joke, at some point, he'll kind of slide in a point where he commits a crime. Like, did you hear the part where he's like, we were just looking in people's windows to see if their power's on? Like, there's always a kind of like a creepy thing that he's doing that's kind of like, that's why Dusty, like, he's like clean, but it feels dirty. You know what I mean? Because it's like kind of weird and like, yeah, it's like I don't know. It's weird in the way like King of the Hill is clean, where it's like, I don't know, there's some dirt on it a little bit, you know? Yeah,
I like knowing that you have to wait for the payoff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not a bam, bam, bam. It's just kind of like, yeah, and then it's like a conversational kind of.
Yeah.
He doesn't get. Dude, he kills. I
It's
think he's one of the-
comfortable and it's not forced, and it's like you just trust this guy. That
Yeah.
At some point, there's going to be a big payoff.
It's like you're floating down a lazy river with him. You're just at
Yeah.
his own pace, which is fun too.
It kind of like lulls you into a place where you're just like,
Yeah.
"Ugh." It's like hypnotic.
Like
yeah.
Cosby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bill Cosby.
Less
Bill
the.
Cosby. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Bill Cosby.
I thought he meant
Yeah.
Bing. Who else would he be?
Yeah.
Oh, Bing.
I just want to make sure you guys know.
Also very comfortable. Yeah, I see that.
Okay, well, what do you give? I give 1 out of 10. I give that a 8.5.
1 out of 10, and Dusty's got great bits. This was up there. Yeah, I'll go 8.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going 9.
9?
Yeah,
That's
because
high praise.
I've seen his 9s and his 10s.
Yeah, I mean, if
some
we're
bigger
judging
ones.
him,
He's a 10.
specifically, yeah, but I have seen him do better bits.
Right.
So I was thinking, there's something about him that grabs me that makes me just giggle like a little kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when I sit in here and watch him, I'm like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
I want to, because
What's he gonna
it's so
do?
slow. He's the opposite of what I do, so I think I just appreciate the fact that I
Right.
can't sit there and have silence that long.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, no, I got to get more in.
You
Gotta
need
get more
something immediately. Yeah.
You
yeah.
Fill the
He's
void,
just-
yeah.
Yeah, but I really appreciate the fact that he can.
But over time, like, I think, Reno, you have obviously been doing this a while. Dusty's, 12 years in or whatever?
Yeah.
12, 13
Probably.
maybe in. And he's fine with it. I think the older I get, the more comfortable I am with just knowing, okay, I can take my foot off the gas pedal. I don't need to rush. Even like sometimes when I come on stage, I'll take my time. I'll take like 15, 20 seconds before I even address the audience. I'll get my notebook set. I'll sign in the microphone. Okay, here we go. But I think that comes with time. Do you feel that over time you still have that void of like,
Okay,
I
yeah.
got to say something, I got
I
to.
went the opposite way.
Right.
When I quit drinking, my brain went into its normal. Like
Sure.
when I started out, I was more like, yeah,
Sure, yeah.
whatever. And then I got, just because everything's sped up in my head.
Right.
So it's
Oh,
now
yeah.
I'm like, I never feel like I have enough time.
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
I don't speed through the bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the pacing and all that, but it's much more like my brain actually works as opposed to me before when I was
When you're kind of
drinking all the time. I mean,
Right.
and loving it. And I had a blast on
So
stage.
the
It
drinking
wasn't-
kind of would tamper down the nervous energy, and then when you stop drinking, then the nervous energy.
it's all there. I mean,
right
I'm not trying to turn this into a AA meeting or anything, but I drank to slow my brain down.
Yeah.
Right,
Because
yeah,
it
yeah.
spins out. So when I watch that, I don't know, man. I just have like this appreciation for the fact that at his stage, he's already got the kind of thing. I come off stage now and I still have energy. I could do 4 of them.
Sure, yeah.
But before, I could barely do one. You know, like I could do it, but I'm like,
Right.
Right,
I mean, at the end, I was walking off stage and going to the bathroom halfway through my set and smoking a cigarette. You know what I mean? It was.
Yeah.
Is this an intervention or something? Why am I being so honest?
Everything okay at home, Reno?
No, that's great. No,
can I
'Cause I
stay
feel the
here?
same way because I quit. It's good to hear you say that because I worry about stuff. So it's good to hear somebody at your level be like, yeah, no, I was terrified of silence. When you get sober, you have to kind of like sit in it and I'm kind of struggling with that as well. So it's kind of cool to hear that you also.
Yeah.
Because I just watch you, and you just assume when you watch somebody who's better, like way better than you and doing it longer, you're like, this is just a stylistic choice. This is just how they do it. Like I see you, you're ripping through, you're crushing, and I'm just like, this guy's on
Well,
fire.
I reinvent it.
Yeah.
I did it. I always
It's
do
cool to
it
hear that there's
naturally,
like a-
however my brain is working.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if I'm feeling this, then that's how my show is. If I'm
Right.
feeling like, then that's how the show is.
Right.
Yeah.
You know? And people used to say, they were like, dude, they're like, you're way funnier now, but you used to have more fun when you were drinking. Like they were like,
Oh, wow,
like
that's
the
weird.
The
Yeah.
crowd likes it more the way you are now.
Yeah.
But back then, I was laughing through my joke. People are like, why do you laugh at your own jokes? I'm like, because I'm really having fun. Like, you know?
Yeah.
And now it's more, I'm more focused. And so when I see somebody, he's focused. Like
Right.
but his ability to kind of just sit in it.
Yeah.
You know, and rest in it. Whereas my brain is like, so I just appreciate his mind working in a way where it's a little song. It's a softer song.
Yeah.
It's a more of a melody.
But I'm like you, Steve. I've sort of gotten more comfortable with the experience.
Yeah, yeah.
When I would starting out, I need that laugh in the first 5, 6, 7 seconds.
Sure,
or
yeah,
whatever. And now I don't. I know that it's going to come, and I know that the people that are in this crowd came to see me, and so I'm relaxed, and it kind of like we're going to get there. It's going to be a nice little ride. So I'm like you in that aspect.
You have the comfortability of knowing you got the goods.
Yeah, it's
they're in
gonna
good
be fine,
hands.
yeah.
It's all state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you put yourself in a position to be uncomfortable on stage on purpose?
No, I try not to, but like I was saying beforehand,
Right, that's what I was
I do a
thinking
thing
about.
now where the first 30 minutes, it's going to be, I know it's going to be fine. And then I stop, and then I just to force new material sometimes.
Right.
I'll just stop and go like, all right, any questions? What are we doing? What's up
right.
with this guy?
But that's
and
what I
then
mean,
I just
forcing the new
kind of put
material.
I'm kind of forcing myself into that uncomfortable position, hoping it might generate a moment that might spark some new bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, you do that all the time.
Well, all the time with crowd work's something I've always worked on. Like if I do 6 sets in New York, I'll do one. Like back in the day, I'd be like, all right, one's going to be crowd work. But when I come to like Zanies here, or like I go to the Comedy Store or the Cellar, I just do crowd work. And I really dig myself in a hole to see, all right, the challenge is not only to get the laugh, but it's to get, I want to go to China and I want to come back victorious. You know, I want to dig down so deep. And the reason I do it is because I've been in situations, I did a show at a car dealership, like a corporate car dealership show, and I was like, this is going to fucking blow. And I walk in, it was awful. Awful. They're talking, they're yammering, whatever. But because I'd put myself in so many situations, within 10 minutes, I knew how to control the room. And I left there going, that's like one of the, like it's one of those small victories as a comedian where no one else would understand what happened there. And I was trying to talk to my wife afterwards, and I was like, you just wouldn't believe, like, the puzzle I was given, and then I solved the Rubik's Cube within 2 minutes. It was like, I did it. And it was like, those are the things where comic goes in, go, oh, fuck, how am I going to pull this off? And then you do it, and it's because I did all this shit, all those nights. So
And that feels good too when you when you can solve that puzzle. Walk
The best
out and go
feeling
like,
in the world.
Holy shit, I'm good.
yeah,
It feels great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to do a gig at the Corvette Museum.
Yeah.
Remember that? It
Yeah.
was a car dealership basically. And
so you did a show for a bunch of
National Corvette.
55-year-olds, midlife crisis?
No, it wasn't for people that work there. A bunch of guys in security suits. No, but it was. They had like a showroom thing.
Yeah.
But dude, that was a bizarre.
it turned out to be good.
Turned
But
out to
when
be
you
great.
walk in, it's like it's around Christmas time. There's like 1,000 Christmas trees everywhere. Everyone's kind of dressed up like it was a corporate gig.
Yeah.
It felt like a corporate
Yeah.
gig. And then by the end of it, it was great. But yeah. To your point.
But it's, I think you do have to challenge. Otherwise, if you're going to be an A to Z comic, and there's nothing wrong with being A to Z, but if you're A to Z, you go up, you just do your thing. You're going to be in situations at some point, you're going to be doing a corporate gig, you're going to be doing, a shit gig, or you're going to end up on a cruise 10, 15 years, whatever it might, the variables might be. You're going to be in situations where it's just like, all right, do you want to go to A to Z here? Because you're going to fucking eat a plate of
eat
dicks.
it. Yeah.
You're going to eat a plate
Right.
of dicks.
And people they can sense that when you're up there in autopilot mode.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, oh, he didn't even realize that this isn't working that great. and he's just
Yeah.
going.
And that's
Like
painful
you're-
to watch somebody
Yes.
do that, where
Yes.
you just,
Oh.
you know, they're just eating it. Although I like it, as bad as that sounds.
that's the best feeling in the
watching
world as a
another
comic.
Yeah,
just-
I
of
love it.
course.
It's like, yeah, do the Starburst bit. I can't wait. Do the cereal live. Do that. I can't wait to see you just get.
It
jumped
sucks
up.
being in that moment because, especially if you have like a long story, and you've committed you're in it for like a minute, and you know there's like 5 more minutes.
Oh yeah.
And if you bail out, it looks like, well, shit, that didn't work, but it's kind of working.
It's yeah.
And you're like, I gotta keep going,
Get to the
even
finish
though
line, yeah.
it's like,
It's not bad enough to bail and make
it's
a
not
thing
bad
out of
enough
it.
to bail, but it's not going the way you want it.
Yeah.
So it's like 5 more minutes of this fucking story I gotta do.
and Dan will come, baby.
Yeah, then you get angry
just
and
like,
you get
yeah.
more animated and
Yeah,
hope that will bring them out. And then
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
it does and sometimes it doesn't.
But to Reno's point, I love sitting in the back and watching a comic when somebody yells something in the middle of a bit,
Yeah.
or a joke did not go well, or they're talking to somebody and you hear it's like, oh yes, please,
we go.
Yeah.
more. How are you going? Can
Yeah.
you cut the blue wire? You gonna cut the red wire? How are you gonna solve it?
That happened
That's
to
the best
Dusty
feeling.
last night. The guy we were talking about,
Yeah.
this was it new material night? There was
Yeah.
he was doing a bit, and some lady just yelled out, "Boy named Sue," and it had nothing to do with what
Bad
he was
repo.
talking about. Yeah, it was our sponsor. He was sitting back there. Someone just yelled out, "Boy named Sue," and he stopped. And that I was over here. I'm like, "Oh, how's Dusty gonna
Yeah.
handle this?" And he goes, "Well, my name's Dusty." And he just and that got a big laugh.
Yeah.
Just in his little what was that about?
Yeah.
And he just kind of rolled with it, and he's a pro, so it was great.
Dude, the best part, like,
But I get excited when
That's
those
great
moments
though. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, it's all good. It's just like when young comics losing it on a crowd member, like when especially when they go up. Like years ago, I lived out of my car for 4 years, just doing comedy zones, just working, driving. I didn't have an apartment. Best time of my life, but we did some crappy rooms.
Yeah.
Years back, biker bars and opening for Earthquake. When I'm in cowboy boots and I mean it was like,
Christ, yeah.
but I had no apartment, so
Yeah.
I opened for Earthquake and then like Guy Torrey and then whoever, because those were in the run.
Sure.
If you needed the work, nobody was going to do it. I was like, I'll do it, and I'd go up there and eat it. Best thing I ever did.
Sure.
But I used to, like, I'd be in the middle of my joke and be like, yeah, and my cousin. Someone yells something out, and I'm like, hey, fuck you. Like it wasn't comedy, and I'm like 2 minutes into emceeing.
Right.
And I just unload on somebody.
Losing the room with Reno
and then
Collier.
it makes it worse. Then it would make it worse.
Oh, yeah.
And then I remember James Gregory said one time, I was working the door at the Punchline in Atlanta, and he goes, I let him hang themselves. Like, he's like, let them keep on talking. Let them keep on talking. The crowd will hate them.
It's a smart tactic though.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah, and it was. And so ever since he said that, I'd hear that in my head. Just let him keep talking. I'd watch everybody get mad at him and madder and madder. And then no matter what you say to him, you win.
The crowd instantly
Yes.
turns.
Yeah.
Instantly turns on a heckler.
Yeah.
Oh, shut the fuck. I mean, the times I've heard that. I like to pounce, though, too. I like to be the Pied Piper in that moment and be like, let's fucking get this guy. Like, yeah.
Do you ever heard of a comedian named Jeff Brannon from Detroit? So this is 25 years ago. He'd work at the Punchline or whatever, and they'd have open mic night. And he'd been a comic for like 25 years, and he'd sit in the crowd and heckle the open micers. And at first, I was like, that's terrible. But after I saw it, I've never laughed so hard in my entire life. Somebody just gets started. He's like, heard it. Richard Jenny did it. Heard it.
Oh, man.
And I mean, it was, and he's like, he was drunk. He's like, I'm helping them.
Yeah.
He's like, they're learning that you can't get away with it. Shit. If there's a comic sitting out there, we're not putting up with it.
Yeah.
It was hysterically, and I was a bartender, but it was so funny to watch.
my
And
God.
the owner let him do it.
Yeah.
Because people would go up and they used to, like, a guy'd go up and just start doing stuff
Right.
like Eddie Murphy Raw.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like,
They can't do that.
Yeah, especially these days, you can't get away with it because everybody's with the internet and
Right.
everybody's so familiar with everybody's act. Chance, what do you give that 1 out of 10?
What, Dusty's?
Dusty's, yeah.
Oh, I gotta say 10 because I'm gonna see him like tomorrow. You know?
Okay,
I
there you
can't-
go.
And
Okay.
yeah, if he sees this, it's not
Shit.
even.
11, I changed
What
mine
do you
from
not
8
get
to
about
11.
I am a feature act? I cannot be. I cannot be.
Yeah.
I gotta say 10 to everybody. You know what I mean? But
you
it's like,
asked
yeah,
me
I do also
backstage
do
if his
like
hair
the bit.
came in his hat.
What? Oh yeah, that's one
Remember
of my
that?
favorite. That's one of my favorite jokes. I bet you see this hat, you think this hair is attached to this hat. Right. Yeah, I take
That guy likes rock and roll. That guy has a rock collection.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that bit.
I wear this hat. You
do.
think I smoke weed? I take this hat off. You're like, I bet that guy smokes weed. It can't change everything. It's not a magic hat.
Right.
All right. This is a name I'm not familiar with. Blaq Ron. I'm assuming.
Asian fella.
I'm assuming that this is a registered Democrat.
This just sounds like something Reno calls his neighbor. You know?
I'm not familiar either.
Yeah.
Q.
How, B-L-A-Q?
BLAQ.
Oh,
Black Ron.
All right.
All right. Let's just get into this because
Black Ron.
I'm very excited about this. Did you pick this out? Okay.
Like Reno calls his neighbor.
That's so
Why you
goddamn
got to throw
funny.
me in that?
Oh, no, you know.
Thanks for not using me in that one.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
All right, here we go.
The reason why I'm mad is because I am the exact man that my father raised me to be. And then I get grown, and they tell me that this kind of nigga is toxic.
Reno opened the show, by the way, guys. Just before
cowboy
Earthquake.
boots.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you mean?
Look at the hat on the
toxic?
stool.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm that blue bottle on the goddamn shelf. If you drink this, it's gonna kill everybody. I'm poisonous. All I am is the exact grown man that my daddy raised me to be. I'm from the South. I'm from Texas. Hell do you mean? But then I did my research. And it dawned on me that all the ladies love that toxic shit. Yes, you do, bitch. Yes, you do. Yes, the fuck you do. That shit is cute until it don't work for you. Oh, y'all be acting like y'all got woman's intuition. Well, where was your spider sense when you shook his hand? It didn't tell you that he beat bitches when you...
Black Ron.
When he said, hey, how you doing? I'm Stefan. Did nothing tingle. Ooh, he whoop hoes. Like, nah, that shit was cute when y'all first going together and shit. He whooped the nigga for accidentally bumping into you at the club and shit. You was like, ooh, my nigga, fight for me. Then when he had your cousin wedding, tearing your uncle ass up. So he pinched you on the booty. Uncle called, hey, baby girl, pinched you on your booty. That nigga tore that whole fucking wedding up. So you like, Stefan, oh my God. Because you like that toxic shit.
All right.
Well,
Damn.
Wasn't familiar. You could tell he's had a couple of drinks.
yeah, I did not fail to live up to the billing.
Yeah.
You know, the first, it's not Ronnie Black, it's Blaq Ron. I was like, okay, let's see how, on the scale of black, how black are we going? And that was pretty black.
Yeah. That was a chocolate sundae.
Chocolate Sunday
At
at the
the Laugh
factory.
Factory.
That's right, yeah.
Why the BLAQ, though?
Well, you got to stand out.
Yeah.
You gotta
Is
stand
it
up
just
for the
too
kids.
obvious with the CK?
For the kids, yeah.
Yeah.
No, the
Oh,
Q,
yeah, Lucy.
the Q is like, I'm an intellectual. That's what Q
right,
is.
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah, that's what it is.
Say that again.
Like Q-tip, or you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Questlove.
Got you.
Yeah. It's like I'm a
And
black.
Say it how,
CK.
say it how you said
Too
it.
much
Say it
like
how you
Louis
said it.
Say it how you
CK.
said it.
Hey,
Yeah.
Say it how you
say
say
you
it.
said it.
Okay, here come the
What is the
three
Q?
most cancelable white dudes in comedy trying to get me.
All right, I'm just going to
All right, dude.
Do it again.
I'm not
Tell me
doing
about
this
the Q.
shit.
Tell me about
I'm
the
not
Q.
doing this shit.
Tell me about the Q, dog.
It's like
Yeah, cue it up.
Q-tip.
Q.
It's like when you guys try to get me to drink a Slurpee at the Capitol. It's like, I'm not doing this shit. I know what's in this motherfucking Slurpee, dude.
You were at the Capitol?
I was at fucking the Capitals game. No, I thought it. Yeah, that was funny. as fuck.
I laughed.
What are you
I
worried
laughed.
about?
What?
I laughed,
It's
yeah.
okay. You're young. You have time to make up after you get canceled.
Oh
You
yeah.
got plenty of
But you
time.
can't get canceled if you have no career, so it's actually not an issue.
So what are you worried about me for?
No, you're good. Yeah. Just the way you guys turned on me, like the vicious, like that, like the, like that thing.
I thought the part about
You guys are like
him-
white girls. You're like, he's code switching. You guys are fucking woke and annoying. What did you
woke.
say? No, do it again. Do the patois again.
Welcome to OK Boomer.
Yeah.
Well, what did you think of the bit? What did you think of the bit?
I love the part about until when he shows up at the wedding and whips your uncle, and I thought that it took too long to get to it.
Right.
But I thought it was really funny. I mean,
He made me
He's
laugh.
funny.
I
Yeah.
mean, he's very comfortable, right?
Yep.
He looked like he was in his element because we don't know what bit preceded this bit, but
Right.
whatever it was, it worked because
Yeah.
you could tell he was comfortable.
He had
And
the
was
audience,
owning
yeah.
the room, and it's one of those bits. It's like, well, yeah, girls are always attracted to the bad boy. I
Right.
mean, that's basically the premise,
Right.
But then he had some drinks, and the way he was talking, I didn't know where it was going in the beginning. Like, I don't know if I'm going to like him, and then he turned me around, and I kind of liked him.
There's a part of me that when sometimes when you see like quote unquote urban acts, right?
Yeah.
They rely on, you know, I guess the shock of dropping the N-word or like a lot of obscenities. What the fuck?
That's true.
Well, right, there's a reliance on that, so you're watching it as like an audience member going, okay, I guess. Well, it's funny because he's saying that in the way that he's saying it. It's the cadence and the tone, and the first like 2 minutes and a half of it, I was like, okay, I'm laughing because he's saying things that aren't necessarily funny, but it's his cadence, it's his tone, and then the twist was when you get to the wedding and he beats the fuck out of the uncle. It's like, oh, okay, well, there's the escalation in the joke.
We uncle pinch you on the booty.
Yeah.
That shit's funny. It's funny.
It's
It doesn't
funny,
matter. Yeah,
but
it
you know what I
doesn't
mean. If you're like from a traditional comedian standpoint, if you're writing things out,
Yeah,
there's not
I mean,
the irony,
This is not a
there's not the
wordsmith.
twist.
This
Yeah.
is a guy
Yeah.
who's just you like his charm and his personality.
This is like when like old white guys watch a quarterback, like a black quarterback, and they're like, oh, a running quarterback. He's really hot dogging out there. Like that's you guys. That's the. energy
But
this has.
here's
It's
the
crushing, it's
analogous,
fine.
right? To make
Yeah,
it analogous, is that if you see like a true like Southern guy, like Larry the Cable Guy, say he goes up there
Yeah.
and he's just talking about his day or whatever, it's like, okay, that's funny because it's his world and he's but Larry the Cable Guy's got like jokes.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, he's not just relying on the cadence and the tone of being a Southern guy and like talking about what he had for lunch or meeting toxicity or whatever.
Yeah.
There's like still like an element of like, oh, there's some jokes in
a
there
setup,
as
there's a
opposed to the
punchline.
personality.
Right,
This to
right.
me was more, I think, reliant on personality as opposed to jokes, if that makes sense. It might,
100%.
I agree too.
and I don't like black people.
Yeah, that could not be clear.
Is that what you want here, Chris?
Yeah. I think it had what? The premise is I'm toxic. I'm against this like toxic shit. The turn is ladies love toxic shit, and then
Yeah.
he tags it up at the end.
It's
What's
not
a joke
brand new
about
premise.
Yeah.
How many times have you heard women like the bad boy? That's what.
Yeah,
that
it's
was.
the- like
He's
the Bill-
using different words like toxic because
The
that's
Bill-
a new word everyone likes to
The
say.
Bill Burr bit where he's like, yeah, you don't want somebody to like you want somebody to shove your face in the pillow. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
it's been done before, but yeah.
It was great. I enjoyed
Yeah.
Blaq Ron.
Yeah.
He does have the cadence. I worked with a guy in Little Rock one time named Chestnut. And Chestnut.
I love these. It's like, who do we make the check out to?
Dude, it drove my
Check. They're getting paid in cash. What are you talking about? Check. Hilarious check.
Dude, with a Q.
Yeah.
I named
Chestnut LLC.
when I had to get incorporated. I just to irritate my old manager, I named my company Poo Poo Pee Pee. So like, and he'd call me and he's like, dude, you're not getting this check. I'm like, you write Poo Poo Pee Pee on that check
That's
and
fucking
you send it to me.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not writing it. I'm not writing. I'm like, yes, you are.
so-
You're
Yeah,
gonna
you are
write
gonna
it.
write. I'm gonna
and
watch
everybody
you
who had to
write.
write me a check had to write Poo Poo Pee Pee Inc.
Ink. Yeah, that's the
Yeah. That's what turns.
That's the
what
cherry
makes
on
it
top.
Official.
This is
Incorporated,
incorporated.
dude.
Incorporated. Yeah.
All right, what do we give Blaq Ron? What do we give Blaq Ron?
1 to 10.
I go 7.
I give him a 3 out of 5.
3.
It's a 3/5 joke. Jesus Christ. Can you keep up, Taylor? All right. 3/5 clause. Look it up.
I'm
All
gonna go
right.
7.
I'm gonna go 7 too.
7. What do you
Yeah,
say?
no. Yeah, probably like a 6 or a 7, you know. It's fine. It's whatever, yeah.
We're going to edit this part out. I'm going to take a piss real quick.
All right.
Professional. Pee poo 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 incorporated.
Poo pee pee.
Poo poo pee pee. Woo. God damn, my ears are
This
hot.
guy. open for me.
You gotta have more self-awareness if you're a guy. If your name is Chestnut,
Yeah.
you can't be like taking
Have you
yourself
ever heard
that seriously.
hamburger?
Oh, hamburger's hilarious.
Hamburger?
Yeah.
Hamburger. That's hilarious.
What's that?
He just says hamburger. He tells a joke. I think he's from Chicago or something.
His name's Hamburger?
His name's like Hamburger Jones or something
And
like
he's like,
that.
he'll
Yeah.
tell a joke. He's like, yeah, the woman coming out hamburger. Like it doesn't have anything to do.
No, it's just his
Dude,
catchphrase.
when I was out with Cable Guy and those guys, they all had catchphrases, and I was
Yeah.
like, fuck this, I don't want a catchphrase. They're like, you got to, people.
You don't
And
say
people
them.
would ask me, so I'd go up there and I'd just like, I'm gonna try different ones out, and I'd tell a joke. I'm like, slap some ham on that thing. Like, it had nothing to do with anything. And I'm like, does that work? All right, everybody, like
Slap some ham on that thing.
Patton Oswalt had a bit about that, like how making fun of catchphrases.
Yeah.
He said, so I'm going to start one tonight, and I'm going to tell you what it is right now. It's put the puppy in the bucket.
Yeah.
And so then he'd do other material. And then at the very end, you forgot he set it up.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
punchline. He said, put the puppy in the bucket. Put the puppy. Like it worked. It was really smart and good.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Number 3. Oh, okay. We're going from Blaq Ron to, okay. Jeff Foxworthy. I want to talk a pendulum swing here.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Jeff Foxworthy?
he's gonna do the exact same bit.
But we're gonna be like, it's really an intellectual, cerebral approach.
Have you ever thought about toxic masculinity? You could be a wife beater.
And why is it spelled F-O-Q? W-O-R.
Foxworthy.
All right, let's Jeff Foxworthy. I like Jeff Foxworthy.
The exact same bit. Your wife might be toxic.
Yeah,
Picture on the booty.
that's like that Foxworthy look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
Like, 80s mullet.
I mean, he's got the look, dude.
He's
the
rocking out.
mustache, the
Right
mullet,
wing for the Nashville
jacket.
Predators.
Wait, this looks back though. This is like
Friday
Morgan
night,
Wallen now.
before you go to bed, get a piece of chalk, draw an outline of a human body outside your front door, then throw some religious pamphlets out around it. Sleep till noon if you want to. I used to sleep till noon when I was single. I didn't like being single. Too tough.
yeah.
Dating was tough. Any guys ever go out with a girl that forgot to tell you she had a boyfriend? That's information you need, yeah? This happened to me. I went out with this girl, and we had a good time. We went out to dinner, and then after dinner, we came back to my apartment. We'd been at my place about half an hour when there was a knock on my front door. I walked out, opened the door. There's this 250-pound guy staring at me going, "What the hell you think you're doing with her?" I looked him right in the eyes, and I said, "I'm cutting her damn hair, and you're just going to have to wait, all right?"
I've never seen him do that.
Yeah, that was
Hell
wild.
there, boy. Single people always have the best sex stories, too, don't they? And we know this because they share them with everybody. You know the people, you see them in the break room at work, they always got a crowd gathered around. So there I was, tied up to her bed, had motor oil smeared all over my body. She came in the bedroom with a saddle and a set of jumper cables. See, married people just can't compete with this. Like, what are we gonna come back with? Well, you know, last night, Marge was vacuuming in her good robe. She bent down to get underneath the sofa. I thought, hell, I can watch Bonanza anytime. It just doesn't hold up. Sometimes we talk about this stuff. Some people say, Jeff, I'm not single and I'm not married, I'm divorced. Now, to me, being divorced is the same as being single, except you don't have as much furniture. My dad's been divorced 4 times, honest to God. His house looks like this. He doesn't have squat left. U-Haul sends him Christmas cards. And it's his fault. He keeps getting remarried, and each wife is like 10 years younger than the one he just divorced. Now, he got married last year. I had to take his wife to school in the morning. You know? Look both ways, Mom.
Okay.
Your dad's a pedophile.
No,
Was
that
that the
last. Here's the thing. That last bit's true. His dad was married like 6 times or something.
Oh, really?
And yeah, I mean, so he wasn't. That's a legitimate bit. Like it doesn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wonder what year that's from.
It's got to be 80s.
90s?
Yeah.
90s?
Late
Early
80s,
90s.
maybe.
Yeah, early 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I like about it is that his setups are layered with jokes.
Yeah.
You know, he's setting up the joke, and he's got joke, and then comes the actual joke. It's like, wow, that's it's really dense joke
It is
telling.
dense, yeah.
He also has the cadence too. Like he's like, they never did. You know, it starts off, it's up here like this, and then it kind of goes down. This is when you laugh.
Slap some ham on it.
I mean, but I think that was the style back then. A lot of guys had the cadence. Back then.
But he
I
owned
can
it.
do it. By the way, I've done this for Jeff Foxworthy.
Yeah.
I said, this is my impression of Jeff Foxworthy. He's drunk and belligerent. You don't know a word he says, but you still get the joke.
Yeah.
And it's this. Man, you ever told about how to do something about me? Because he's got it, man. It's like, it gets in your brain. And like 20 minutes later, it don't matter what he says because you're hooked.
Yeah.
What did he think of
Oh,
it?
he
I mean,
laughed his
I mean,
ass
that
off.
is
He
so
made this,
goddamn funny.
he squealed like he was like, he loved it. Yeah.
You know what's fun? Like, going back to that time and thinking about how big he's become.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he still loves sitting around talking comedy more than anything.
Yeah.
And, like, breaking down jokes and stuff. And I was lucky enough to tour with him for a few years. And, like, he really is a comic at heart. Like, he loves talking it. He loves thinking about it. He loves, but he's been around. I remember he said to me one time, he's like, I didn't know if I was funny anymore. And then a bit came up. I know, and I'm sitting there. I could hardly talk to him when I first met him because I started in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, he was
Just a living legend back
Yeah,
then,
there was
even.
nobody who came out of Atlanta but him, really.
Yeah.
Pam Stone, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot that came out of the punchline. But he's like, yeah, I didn't know if I was even funny anymore. And I was like, dude, you just destroyed in front of 20,000 people. He's like, I know, but sometimes it just doesn't feel like it's really rolling like the.
And he's still, isn't he still the best-selling?
More CDs than Richard Pryor and Bill Cosby put together. He's the all-time greatest,
That's crazy.
highest sales of any comedian in
Yeah, he's
history.
like the
And
Garth
it's not
Brooks
even
of-
close.
Yeah.
It's not even close. Like, I mean, they
And
were
again,
just
like,
printing them.
like to go back to this conversation, I think, Reno, you and I might have had this in the past, of like, anytime there's that broad success, they never get the anointment or the acknowledgement from, like, you know, the industry. I mean, that guy should be on the cover of, like, Variety.
Dude, they did the top
Just
100
unbelievable.
comics on
Right.
Comedy Central. He wasn't even in it. It was like 78 or something.
crazy.
And it's like, and Cable Guy wasn't even in one of them.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And he had the #1 selling comedy tour for like 4 years in a row, and not even a. And the thing is, I
sold
think
like a
that's
football
great.
stadium. He
It's-
sold out.
I know.
Football
I did it with him.
Nebraska,
I
yeah.
shit my pants right in back of the stage. But like they never. And
And that was your merch?
That was what I sold.
Yeah.
And it's because Jeff told me to. It's not easy getting on that tour, you know.
Yeah.
But I forgot what I was saying.
No, it's just, my roommate opens for Rodney Carrington is the same thing. He's huge. I mean, selling out huge venues, and like,
But
I
there's a
never hear
chip
him
on their
mention.
shoulder, and I think it's good for them.
Yeah.
Like it's like, really? You don't like that? Well, how about I put another album out?
Yeah.
How about I throw out another special?
You know what's
and see
funny
what
is that
happens?
there's a chip on the shoulder of the hardworking, like blue-collar kind of comics coming from, you know, broad rest of America, the other 48 states. And then I think there gets this lethargic kind of like laziness from some of the other ones that are anointed like the next big thing and the greatest thing and all this other stuff. There is just this laziness. I know a bunch of comics, I could rattle off their names right now, that have been offered things and they go, nah, I don't want to do that. It's like, are you fucking out of your mind?
Yeah.
Like 8 years ago, you would have died to have had this opportunity, but now you have it on easy street. But be careful.
Yeah.
Right.
Because what goes up comes
Oh,
down.
it always comes down.
Yeah.
And getting the second ride on the merry-go-round is the toughest thing to get.
Yeah.
I think it shows in their act too. There's like a laziness.
yeah.
Like it's kind of like we always talk about like road comics at like the level, albeit lower, that I'm at. If you see somebody coming through to do like a showcase or even like a feature act, and they say they're from New York or LA, it's like bomb. It's gonna be a bomb.
Dude, it is.
Like it'll be a bomb.
The
Yeah. And if it's some
worst
like
thing
guy
in the
you've never
world-
heard of from Indiana, he's like he's about to rip it up.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah.
The worst thing is when a guy is from like the Midwest or South or whatever, moves to LA, and the first time they come back, I mean, it's like, I live in LA and I was stuck on the 405, and it's like, asshole, you're from Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah.
I saw you 3 weeks ago, and you're living in a dump with 8 other dipshits, you know, in Studio City.
Studio City, exactly, yeah.
You don't have a leather jacket now? What
You guys don't know what swingers is?
Yeah.
Well, you're right. There was a cockiness, to your point, there was a cockiness that came along with guys that started in New York or LA, and then they'd find themselves at Charlie Goodnight's in Raleigh.
Right,
and they
right.
think, like, I'm going to show these dumb hicks how comedy's supposed to work.
Yeah.
And they get up there and eat shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, what's wrong?
What happened?
What happened to
Yeah,
you?
and then these
Yeah.
people are too stupid for them. Like, well, these people
Right.
just don't get me.
They
That
don't
was-
get me.
Yeah.
Well,
They're
this is
elitist.
where you're at right now.
It's elitism.
Yeah.
It is. It's like a disrespect for the audience. They think they're not. You're here to entertain them, and
Yeah.
they like try to shit on them and then wonder why it doesn't work. It's weird.
Yeah.
Well, to go to Foxworthy, I'll tell you, I had something where I was promoting something. I was a guest on his, I think, like a Sirius show or something. Fox.
Yeah.
I forget what. But I was like really very nervous and excited because the other time it happened was with Dennis Miller because I loved him on Update.
Oh, yeah.
And I still think he's such an incredible talent. He gets slammed for his views. He's so out there politically. But you know, same thing with Foxworthy. I was really nervous. And I got on the phone with him. We're having this conversation, and it was 2 comics talking, and I was like, wow, he's treating me like a comic, and I'm like treating him like, you know, a Hall of Famer.
Right.
And I couldn't believe that in the conversation he was putting me like at the same level as a comic, like asking me questions about like how I write or whatever, and I was like, wow, this is fucking great. Like Jeff Foxworthy is asking me these questions.
Right.
Like these are things I would be thinking that I would love to talk to you, but I don't know. There was no like elitism with him. There was no like you know, judgmental thing. It was just like, hey, you're in the club. Let's hash it out. I was like, fuck, that's really cool.
And he's really like that. Like,
Super nice guy. Have you ever seen a picture of him?
There's one of those things where at the end it's like, we're friends now, right? He's like, no.
Lose this number.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You leave thinking like, oh, I could call him anytime. It's
Yeah.
like, well, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe he's not going to answer. But on my podcast, he showed me a picture. He goes, because I was asking about the mustache.
Yeah.
Like, how long have you always had the mustache? When did you ever shave it off? And have you ever seen a picture with him without the mustache? Oh, it looks like a whole nother human being.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But he texted it to me. I was like, oh, I laughed so hard at this picture. But that's how humble he is. He's like, I don't care. I'll show you a picture of me without my mustache, you know? Yeah, I give that one. Are we rating it now?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. God.
I give that bit an 8 out of 10. I give it an 8 out of 10 because I thought it was really good. But I wasn't like howling. You know, I've had bits on here where I was like, holy shit, like that was fucking great. I will say what I love about it, again, is just how dense it was. There were so many jokes contained within that 3 minutes.
Totally.
So many.
You know what it reminded me of when we
great.
watched that old Saget clip? You remember that? And it was just dense, and it wasn't like one bit. It's just like a ton of bits. So
Rapid
it's like,
fire.
You're not even really judging the bits. You're judging like the performance of that like little chunk.
Yeah.
And all that together, like, it's really cool. I love his fucking outfit and his watch and his good bolo shit.
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
like, you're like, he's probably getting so much redneck trim back then, dude. He's like, you're like, I've never seen
Redneck
trim?
I've never seen Jeff Foxworthy
that
and
a
been like,
fish?
this dude's fucking cool. But watching that, I was like, this dude's cool.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
by the way, it
That
still
was
holds
cool.
up.
That was
Because
cool.
There
Yeah,
were
that was
things
cool.
we saw with the Saget where there was a joke or two that didn't hold up.
Right,
But then
but
you
it doesn't
watch
matter,
this.
yeah.
It's timeless.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
do those jokes today. You could do it 20 years ago, and that's a testament to the joke writing.
Yeah.
It seemed like, there it is. He just pulled up the picture of him without the mustache. It seemed like almost two sets to me. Like in the beginning, it was what you were saying, where it was like joke, and then he kind of calmed down when he talked about his dad.
Yeah.
And
He
it
got
looked
vulnerable.
like he didn't have
Yeah.
any furniture and he's been divorced. It seemed to slow down. It's like we got two different Foxworthys right
Because
there.
the one was real, and the other one was just observational.
Yeah.
It was the chalk outline, the religious pamphlets. It was like, that's a funny bit.
Right.
It's a
Yes.
great bit. But then he's going into almost
got
storytelling.
personal.
Very
Yes.
personal, yeah.
Yeah.
And I like both, but
Yeah.
it was kind of cool to see
Completely
that
agree
in the
with you.
same set.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a newer comedian kind of reflex. I feel like where I'm at right now, I feel like I have to like get on your side and convince you that I'm funny before I can start talking about like, oh, here's my thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I tell you guys something? The bit about I was just cutting his hair was a closing bit from a Showtime special that he finagled in there because I as soon as he started doing it, I'm
He
like,
did what?
I'm like, this is-
Finagled.
That he what did it in there?
I don't know if we can say finagled.
Why?
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Why not? Because of Finnish people? Jerk.
Bang, metal city. Reno. Bang your spear. Tap out, Reep.
So wait, what was it? What was?
That's why you
when he
perform in
did it-
bowling alleys,
when he
asshole. This guy does theaters.
I make
when
him
he
go
did
last.
when he did his Showtime special a long time ago, that was a closing bit.
Yeah.
So you know when you're doing a bit and you're doing something on TV and you go, well, I'll take this from this and this from
Sure.
that and this from this. So it felt to me, only because I've seen him,
Yeah.
that it was a short TV set and he went, oh, that kills, so I'll throw that in there and then I'll do
Yeah.
a thing about my dad and I'm out in 7 minutes.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
That's probably
It was-
why you felt the shift. Because that bit came before he talked about his dad.
Right.
And it was such a great bit. And yeah, you could be like, oh, that could be a closer for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But to
Yeah.
know that it was a closer, and then the shift from such a high of a great joke to, all right, let me bring you back down here for a second.
Put
Get
my new
personal.
stuff there.
It's pretty awesome,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a good set.
That was a good observation.
Thank you, guys. Are you showing people this picture? I think it's hilarious.
Oh, yeah, can we show it
That's
in there?
him
Insert it?
without the mustache, and it's just weird, right?
It looks like he looks like a Jeff Foxworthy impersonator.
yeah,
Yeah.
In that it's like he almost looks like him, but not.
I'm gonna give that one. I agree with you. I think it's like an 8.
Yeah.
Wait a 10.
Yeah, I'll go 8.
The set is an 8.
Yeah.
But boy, do I like it.
Oh, not this picture. This picture's a 10.
Yeah.
Take the shirt off. What did you guys think?
Reno, what do you give it?
I feel weird judging it because I've seen him so many times.
Yeah.
What did I give Dusty, a 9?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a 9 too.
Yeah. How about you, Chance?
Oh, 10 always. And Jeff, if you're listening right now, I work with a lot of
We
great
know what he's doing.
headliners.
Yeah, it's gonna be 10s for everybody.
I can work clean. I'm from the South. Yeah, come on, man. What do you
I think today it's a tie between Dusty Slay and Jeff Foxworthy.
Right.
And our sincere appreciation to Blaq Ron.
I take Blaq
Yeah.
Ron. I think Blaq Ron had the best performance. I'll just be the millennial
There you
voice
go.
or whatever
All right.
on the thing. Yeah.
Here's my favorite part of the show.
I
Yeah.
hate this.
We're gonna watch a clip. We're gonna watch a clip that's gonna be one of us. Let's see. Oh yeah. Reepy,
I already
Jon
saw your
Reep. Here
video
we
pulled
go.
up.
Yeah, bang.
I know you already saw your
Say
thumbnail
4. I'm
pulled
gonna
up.
go
You're
Price
like,
is Right, but I'll
I
go
don't
down
know
one.
what it
3.
is.
I'll go.
I have no idea what it is.
Oh,
I
fuck
can't
yeah.
watch myself.
I
hate it.
love watching me some Jon Reep. I love watching you, man.
Dude, I love
I do
I would
too,
love
yeah.
when the Comedy Store, when I'd see your name on, you'd be the one I'd go in to watch before me, or I'd stick around to watch after me
Yeah.
if you were on the show with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you just bring a joy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like a happy.
But you know how it is. You don't, no one likes the sound of their own voice.
Sure.
Totally,
I'm watching
yeah.
this. I'm looking at that. Was a bad hair day, dude.
I think it's kind of
Horrible
bad.
hair day.
I think it
What are
looks
you talking about? You
good.
look good
dude.
here.
I don't.
You look
There
like
was
you
a
just
time-
you look like you just got in a hockey fight. They rip your helmet off and you're like, ah, fucker.
Right. I was trying to. Okay, so I was going for a Ginger Jax from Sons of Anarchy, where I
Okay.
wanted to slick
Sexual.
my hair back for a while.
Yeah.
And so I was slicking it back, and then you get there, and they're like, "Oh, there's hair and there's makeup people," and they start doing stuff and putting
Yeah.
product in that I never ever use.
So they gave you a part.
And they just
swooped
did
it
my
over.
hair. I said, well, I'm slicking it back. They go, you need some of this product in there. Then halfway through, I'm sweating so hard that like it didn't matter what they put in my hair, and it
Yeah.
did this. So when I thank you for the compliment, but when I watch this, I go like, oh God, that's a horrible hair job.
You look great.
It's a bad hair.
I
day.
would never think. I think you look fantastic.
All right, thanks. I'll take it.
All right, let's watch a little Jon
Yeah,
Reep
let's see
here. Here
what
we
got
go.
here.
I used to work at a Goodyear changing tires with my uncle. And I love my uncle, but he's like an idiot savant, but just real heavy on the idiot part. He's a little light on the savant. Like he's the kind of dude who can't spell IQ, but somehow he can build you a working motor out of an old coffee can and a chicken heart. He was trying to teach me how to change brakes one day. I don't know if you know anything about brakes or brake drums. All you need to know is there's asbestos dust in there. Okay? Now, my uncle, he pulls off the brake drum, the asbestos flies out. And I am not changing a word of this. He looked at me right in the face. He goes, "Get back, stupid. That stuff will give you cancer."
This thing? Yeah, the Twitch. The twitch.
Just like your daddy. Damn, like, he was good at that cigarette butt flick. You seen people do that? Smoke a cigarette all the way to the butt, and they just flick it. Real it was like 500 yards. You know, kill a bird with it. Yeah, you hungry, John? You hungry? That's good. Got you a falcon. That's illegal.
It's so great.
He's not the worst one in my family, believe it or not, man. My dad, he takes a cake. He's always making the worst decisions. I'll never forget this. Like, he used to be a cop, and one time he shot his own bed. I was like 9 years old, okay? I'm just walking down the hallway past my dad's room. You know, his door's open a little bit, so I just kind of peep in there. I just want to see what my daddy's doing. And I see him. He's in front of his mirror. He's putting his uniform on. Okay. Game face. He's very serious.
I thought he wanted to go cross-eyed. I don't know.
For some reason, his game face was cross-eyed. But he saw me looking in at him, right? He's like, "Hey, what are you doing out there? You looking at me? Come here, buddy. Let me show you something. Get in here. Look at that, son. See that right there? That's not a toy, okay? Only trained professionals should..."
Always scares someone in the front row when I do that bit.
Yeah.
It always
Did I get you?
Yeah.
That's how I felt. Scared the crap out of me, too.
Can I tell
Okay.
you? Can I tell you something real quick?
Yes.
I'm watching this bit, and you have a warmth. Mm-hmm. You have a warmth about you, and as I'm watching it, when you said, "Did I get you?" you reminded me of Robin Williams.
Oh,
Like,
really? Okay.
there's that warmth that he has where
Yeah.
he's enjoying his job,
Yeah.
and he's having fun, and you just feel comfortable with him. And in that moment, for some reason, I was like, "Oh my God, the warmth is Robin Williams-esque."
Okay,
You have this like comfortability where people just enjoy you. And last time, I think you were on, we were talking about John, and you were talking about how John accentuates everything with physicality, and the movements aren't just being physical. They're funny as well.
Yeah.
Like when you hit the Falcon, I thought you were going to flick it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, it's going to be a callback." And then you were like that.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
why that made me cry.
Yeah.
It made me cry. It's
like
so stupid.
Thank you.
It's fucking great.
Yes, yes. And I purposely chose a falcon because it's the fastest bird.
Yeah.
I mean, I know.
So there's depth to your thinking.
I really am. Yeah. Yeah. I killed a falcon with
Falcon.
the cigarette butt.
Even phonetically, it's the funniest. Like Falcon.
Falcon.
Yeah.
It's fun to say falcon.
Falcon. Yeah. Like the way you say things is funny.
Yeah.
And I think my favorite comedians are like, I think like there's comics who are like really relatable, and there are comics who are like, you go, how does he think like that?
Right.
And when you marry those two, it's like fucking.
Yeah.
And you're like that, where it's like, oh, it's both. It's very relatable. but it's
Coffee
also
maker and a
like-
chicken heart. I mean,
The
that's a
chicken-
perfect
yeah,
example
chicken
of like
heart.
what you're.
Yeah.
Then you add a face. Then you add like a funny pronunciation. It's just you're spinning so many plates at once, but it looks so easy and effortless. But you're fucking it's moving up there.
Right here.
You didn't
Yeah,
point
yeah.
at me because my compliment was pretty nice too.
It was great, but he's right. I am trying to do a bunch of shit at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to be physical, but I also try to get good, good writing in there.
Yeah.
You know, like there's jokes in there.
It's well written,
Sometimes the movements are a punchline.
Oh yeah.
And so it's nice to hear someone observe that, you know, or recognize that.
Well, I did the comedy catch one time, and before the show, it was a Dusty show I was featuring, and they played your entire hour on
my
the
God.
projector before the show started. So,
Really?
Yeah. And there's no green room at the comedy catch, so I just sat there and
I feel
watched
like
the whole
I should
damn
get a
hour.
paycheck for that.
How many walkouts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the comedy catch, there was nobody there. There's nobody there to walk in. A server peeked their head and they're like, I'm gonna go work at the Choo Choo tonight.
That special was shot in Chicago, and it sat on a shelf at Levity for a long time. No one wanted it. And then recently it was bought by Nacelle, some company, Comedy Dynamics.
Okay, yeah.
And then they just recently put it on Amazon Prime, like maybe 4 years ago.
Really?
But that's like a lot of old stuff.
But you can watch this on Prime right now.
You can watch this on Prime. It's called The Ginger Beard Man.
The Ginger Beard Man.
Yeah, The Ginger Beard Man. I couldn't think of a title. I'm like, well, I'm looking at this. I see a
You're
ginger
spent
beard
after
guy.
60 minutes, great material. It's like, fuck it, I don't got time.
Ginger
Just come up
Beard
with
Man,
something,
yeah.
man. Generic. But
You can't name it.
Falcon Killer. Yeah. That was, but that set, I remember it being like, why am I doing this Chicago? And Chicago's great.
Yeah.
I've always done fine there, but I feel like I could have done better in front of a home crowd.
Sure.
But the crowd was good. And sometimes, even me saying that just now, I'm like, well, that's pretty dumb too, because my first special was in Charlotte, and they were too like, woo!
Right.
Like, if
Yeah.
I'm watching it now, I hate my first special because of the crowd. Like, the guy who brought me out was like, all right, it's his first special. Let's all get pumped. Let's get a lot of energy. And when I'm watching it, I'd rather hear an audience laugh at a joke instead of like, woo, yeah! You know,
Yeah.
it's too rally,
It's almost
rally,
insincere.
and not,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not authentic, yeah.
So this one, I didn't like it at first, but the more I watch it, the more I go like, I'm pretty proud of that one.
I'm going to check this one
Yeah,
out.
it's a great bit.
I had my second hour come out years ago, and there's clips of it on YouTube, and that's where you get like, you know, your customer comment cards right on YouTube, and I read repeatedly. Somebody's like, "Who's that fucking bitch that keeps laughing?" And wherever they mic'd it next to a girl. It's like, and you hear her laugh after everything, and it stands out above everything else. And I was like, "Oh my god!" I was so proud of the material, but I hate
And then
this
that
special
one
because of
thing-
this fucking. They could have toned it down or something and edited, but they fucking didn't. They didn't give a shit.
Which one is that? What's it called?
Burn Identity.
Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go back and hear
The
it. listen
Ginger
for that.
Beard Man.
Yeah.
The Burn Identity. Yes.
Sorry, guys.
This is it. What's your special? What are your specials names?
Reno Collier.
1-800
Comedy
Bad
Central.
Reno.
Blaq Reno.
The Reno Man. Blaq Reno.
It's old. It's
so
really
funny.
old. It was a thing I was doing for a little while.
Oh, that's so funny.
I got to tell you,
That is true, though. I did work at a Goodyear with
Yeah.
my Uncle William, and that moment did happen.
Right.
So that's all based
That
in
is
true
fucking
stuff.
hilarious.
You know, I don't want to blow way too much smoke up your ass, but it is, you know, like
Spread
when
your
you
cheeks.
you talk about like whenever you watch like newer comedians and they're like trying to like ape somebody's style to kind of figure out how to do it, you
Yeah,
know, and there's
yeah.
like all these archetypes of like guys you see at open mics, right? But now like I see people like even like comics I like are like there's like a part of you in what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you know Drew Morgan or Corey Ryan Forrester or any of those dudes, but it's so clearly like it's that thing. It's like this intelligent dissection of kind of like a Southern upbringing and seeing like the art and the fun and the like the there's something cool about it.
Yeah.
To see that it's kind of being like, you know what I mean? Like that's how
fun.
you know you're good. If people are like, you know, they're trying to do what
trying
you
to
do.
emulate me a little bit.
You know what I mean? And putting their own spin on
There's
it. They're,
one thing
they're
I would
unique, creative
change.
guys. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of comics do it, and I just fell into it, I guess. When you're saying like, and I looked them right in the face. You know, like everyone says, I looked you right in the face. And I would change that. I was like, I looked at him. I don't know why that bugs me, because I hear a lot of people like when they're having a confrontation
right
in their bit, and I looked him right in the face.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I mean, I did, but that's where you look at someone.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously,
I
you're gonna
like
look
that.
at. I looked him right in his damn toenail.
Yeah.
Of course, no. Why would you do that? So I don't know why that bugs me about that,
Interesting.
but I would change that.
yeah, because
think
it like
you're
props up the
overthinking.
That's so
next to you.
stupid, isn't it?
You're over.
But
I
that's
agree
just
with it.
how we.
Yeah.
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 I mean, I'm not even a fan, but that was.
Yeah. He said that right to my face.
Right to your fucking face. Call back.
Dude, you know how freaking likable this guy is? People come from like Virginia to go to his house when he's got like a yard sale. I'm not kidding. I got to meet some of his fans when we were doing shows together and stuff. there are people that love this dude. Like, not just, I'm going to go to your shows. Like, he's like, I'm having a yard sale in Hickory.
Yeah.
And these people drove there.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
just to be like, hey, John,
Yeah,
how's it going?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Did
they
you feel
love
like a
him.
need to like, oh, shit, should I do like a little 5 minutes here or something, or in the front yard, or I
No,
feel
no.
like,
It was on my podcast we do a thing where we go to Goodwill and we exchange gifts, blah blah blah, and it just piled up. Well, we had all these gifts we didn't care about.
Got it, yeah.
It was junk. I said,
Right.
let's have a yard sale.
Yeah.
For the podcast, and people showed up. For
Like his fans, and they're not weird. Like, you know,
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah, yeah,
someone's
yeah.
like, "Hey, I followed you from Michigan. I used to be, you know." It's like, okay, relax,
take it
dude.
easy.
These were like normal, like nice people.
Yeah.
Good people. I was impressed by it, dude. I haven't seen anything like that where it's like genuine.
It's great.
Yeah.
You should call your shows yard sales then. Maybe they'll start showing up.
Yard sales, yeah.
Sorry, guys. A little slam, a little dig. I can't hold the reason. We can't just
Yeah.
blow smoke up. We got to shit on it.
Yeah,
It's so
exactly, yeah.
uncomfortable. Let's rate me and move on.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'd give that a 9.5 out of 10 because I was crying when I was watching. I was
Yeah.
literally laughing. I enjoyed that. What do you guys give?
I gave Jeff and Dusty 9. That was better.
Yeah.
I love both those guys, but as far as that set, that was a 9.5. I mean, and dude,
Looking around at the
kills-
Falcon, like
Dude,
you know,
that
it's so
abstract,
good, just
weird
like-
twist at the end is what makes me laugh about every one of his bits. Where it's
Yeah.
not what you think. It's never. It's
Yeah.
always a little bit.
Yeah.
Just that. And
It's like the story could have ended here,
Right.
But for whatever reason, now I'm like, you hungry?
And you're descriptive.
Yeah.
You're
Looking for
The
this
eyes,
bird.
the micro act out is like Louis shit. You know, like the very like minute act out. Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. 10 out of 10, and it, you know, my calendar's looking very
Gotcha.
free.
available to work. Yeah. Well, guys, where do we keep up with Reno? Where we keep up with
Reno Collier Comedy.com or how do you guys get rid of your regular Facebook page? Like,
You
I can
sound like
ask
the-
you,
how do you
but,
get
like,
rid
how
of
do
your
you get
regular
rid of the
Facebook page?
regular
You have a
one?
fan page.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you would rather people go to the fan page.
There's like 1,000 people that have
Just
friend
punch
requests.
put a bunch of MAGA shit on there, or COVID doesn't exist.
It's
Go
already
cancel it.
there.
Yeah.
So you
That's why no one can find my other one. Commie bastards. What do you got, a chip in your head?
I ain't getting the microchip.
And how about you? Well, country-ish.
Yeah, countryish.com. Just johnreep.com. It has links to everything as well.
Hickory.
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 I ran for mayor. You do documentaries, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna call you one day about
Yeah.
this saga, and maybe this will be another episode.
Okay.
Where I was trying to run for mayor of Hickory, and I got hornswoggled. What do we call it the
Yes.
other day? Yeah.
Really?
Hornswoggled.
Something happened. Yeah. Anyway, we'll do that just another time. johnreep.com for more
Okay.
info. Yeah.
I do want to hear about this. And Chance,
ChanceWillie.com. You got
and
everything
your
up there.
podcast.
Animal Secrets.
Here we
It's
go.
a Dusty story. Actually, that name came from Dusty because
Yeah.
he told us a story about a dog in a trailer park, which I won't say. And then he was like, "Yeah, I got a lot of animal secrets." And we're like, "That's the podcast name."
That's hilarious.
All right. As always, I got to thank you guys. Reno and I have been talking because Reno's jumped in quite a bit. I love working with Chance, obviously, but when we were talking about you come back, I was like, oh, maybe we'll have you guys. This is by far one of the funnest times I had on the show, and I had a
fun.
great time with Heffron. Another episode, but man, Reep, it's just you, man. You're the best. We love you.
Thank you. I love everybody.
All
I love
right,
you guys.
we'll do it again. Comedy Pinata. Thank you guys again. Subscribe, rate,
boys.
review. We'll talk to you soon.
Woo-wee!
Boom.
That's a heater.
Yeah.
Woo!